Hi everyone, good evening. My name is Heather from MRCOG-1 Expert. We have today with us Dr. Helmi, Dr. Zaid, and Dr. Desiree, Dr. Niroz from MRCOG-1 Expert team. We were actually waiting for more students to come, but it has been now more than 15 minutes, so we'll proceed with the session. Okay, so over to you, Dr. Helmi, you can proceed.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Hassan. Good evening, everyone. I'm Dr. Mohammed Helmi. I'm glad to be with you today in our first session for preparation for the July exam. Today is an orientation session. We are going to tell you how to start preparing for Part 1 exam. With me today is Dr. Zaid and Dr. Desiree and Dr. Niroz from our team, and we all are here to answer any questions you have. Welcome everyone, and I hope you enjoy this session with us. Of course, the MRCOG exam is an internationally recognized exam for practicing obstetrics and gynecology, and of course this exam is the key exam in the United Kingdom. Any trainee in obstetrics and gynecology in the UK have to pass this exam to take this specialty of obstetrics and gynecology. Of course, this part is one part of three. We have 3 steps in the MRCOG journey. We have MRCOG Part 1, Part 2, and Part 3. Part 1 and Part 2 are written exams, while Part 3 is the oral or the OSCE exam. Of course, to be eligible for Part 2 MRCOG, you should have completed 4 years of clinical experience in the field of obstetrics and gynecology. While, of course, for Part 1, like we are going to mention later on, that only after graduation you can take this exam. So, the first part of orientation session, we are going to talk about how to apply for this exam. Of course, most of candidates intending to take the next July exam have already applied their eligibility forms, and they are waiting for the response from the Royal College. So maybe this part will help those who intend to take the exam later on. All you have to create an account on the official website of the Royal College. This is the official website of the Royal College, www.rcog.org.uk. This is the official website. You are going to create an account with your email, and then after you create this account, you will receive a number. The Royal College will give you a certain number. This number will be your number all over your dealing with the Royal College. Then after applying or creating this account, you will go to the exam section in this website and sign in with your account and go to the section of Part 1 exam. Here you will apply or request what's called the eligibility form. This is in a PDF form. They are going to send you when you request this, and after that you will fill this form with your data or your information, and then you will send this eligibility form together with your graduation certificate to their email. So you will download this PDF form, you will fill it, and then you are going to compose a new email with this title mentioned here, and then you will attach the form together with a scan or a photo of your original primary medical degree certificate, or you can also use the medical registration certificate, but provided that it states your primary medical degree and university. Then you will send this email to the given address there, which is part 1 eligibility@rcog.org.uk. So first you are going to create an account on the official RCOG website, then go to the exam section and part 1 exam section, and you will request the eligibility form. You are going to fill it, then attach it to an email together with a photocopy or a scanned copy of your primary medical certificate. Then send it to the email mentioned, part 1 eligibility@rcog.org.uk. After you send this email, the RCOG will process your data and they will process your certificate, and then they will get back to you and reply to you about your approval or acceptance. And this processing may take up to 4 weeks, but usually within 2 weeks they reply to the candidate. But the maximum time is 4 weeks. After approval, then you can now pay online and book a seat for the exam. So after they process your papers, they will get back to you within 2 weeks, maximum 4 weeks, with the approval, and then you can pay online and you can book a seat for the exam. These are the data mentioned for the next July exam. Of course, the exam is on Monday, the 1st of July, 2019. The last date of eligibility application is Thursday, the 4th of April. And the booking application deadline is the Thursday, 11th of April. The fees of the exam is according to the center you are going to take the exam in. They divided the countries into bands, and each band contains a number of countries, and each band has a certain fees. For the UK and Republic of Ireland, the exam is about 460 sterling pound, and band A countries 464, band B countries 427, and the band C countries is 380 sterling pounds. So these are the fees of the exam, and these are the deadlines of the application. The eligibility application deadline is the Thursday, 4th of April, and the booking application or the payment for a seat or in the exam is Thursday, 11th of April. If you are a reset candidate, if it's not your first time, it's the second or third, then you don't have to send your papers again. All you have to do is to pay online and book a seat for the exam immediately. So for the second or reset time, or for a reset candidate, you don't have to send any papers again. Just pay online and book a seat for the exam. So this is how to apply for this exam. And fortunately, of course, everything is done online nowadays. Before, you have to send hard copies via DHL or something like this, but now everything is applied online, and this, of course, is an easy way for application. Now, we will talk about the exam format. Of course, MRCOG-1 is a written exam. Of course, this is a written exam, as we mentioned earlier, and like part 1 and part 2, they both are written exams. In this exam, we have 2 papers. Each paper constitute about 50% of the mark. Paper 1 is 50% of the total mark, and paper 2 also counts for 50% of the total mark. The exam format in both paper is single best answers. You don't have any other format. You will only answer single best answers in both papers. Paper 1 contains 100 single best answers, and the same for paper 2, another 100 single best answers. Paper 1 is 2.5 hours duration, or 150 minutes. The same for paper 2, with 1 hour break between both papers. So this is the exam format in part 1 MRCOG. Only single best answers, 200 questions divided in 2 papers. Each paper is 2.5 hours, and with 1 hour break between the two papers. Now, I will let Dr. Zaid to give you her tips and her advice about how to prepare for this exam. Please, Dr. Zaid.
Yes. Hello, assalamu alaikum, and good evening, everybody. I'm Dr. Zaid Qureshi, and I will be going to tell you about that how to prepare for this exam and what things to focus on and how to pass this exam in almost first attempt. Okay. Actually, every exam is different and every exam needs studies. Okay. So, I mean, nothing is like easy and nothing is going to be given to you in the plate. Okay. It's not like, I mean, we don't study and we just pass the exam. Obviously, every exam has got some, the areas where we have to focus on. Okay. So what we need to do is that we have to do a smart study rather than, the smart study rather than, studying a lot. Okay. There are, hundreds and hundreds of sources, in fact. Okay. Hundreds and hundreds of sources that how to prepare for exam and how to do this and how to this. But since we are dealing with Royal College, okay, since we are dealing with the Royal College, so we have to stick along the Royal College syllabus, along the lines of what RCOG wants from us. In fact, like Dr. Helmi rightly said that this exam is about the basic knowledge, obviously. So we have to do basic relevant knowledge, not like basic knowledge for whole what you can say, the whole body or every system there is or every subject there is. Since we are dealing with the gynae ops, so we have to be very peculiar about gynae ops, in fact. Okay, so it doesn't mean that we are dealing with the gynae ops, but we don't know about that we don't have to know about which joint or which thing is there. Like there's a very famous, kind of a joke that, in an anatomy viva exam, in the final exam, there was a candidate and he has been asked to make a hip joint. And he started to fit that, the femur into this foramen magnum of the skull. So obviously, I mean, we should know that, where this joint is and how that joint is being made. But still, okay. So these should be the basic things, but we have to focus on gynae ops relevant information. So we have to deal with basically we have to deal with pelvis perineum and some part of the breast and also upper thigh. So these from anatomy point of view or from gynae obstetrics, we need to be master on all these things. Okay, so I mean. Just focus in this thing that there is no certain source or no one thing that yes, voice is very much equal. Hello, can you hear me now, please? Is it clear?
Yes.
Okay, fine. Okay, so I was talking about that, we have to keep it in our mind that there is no certain source or no certain book that will cover the whole theory syllabus for part 1 exam. But obviously, college has given us some guidelines that, what to follow and what not to follow, in fact. What I can see is that, as far as, because we belong to the, most of the time we are like overseas candidates, and every country has got their own basic sciences subjects or stuff, or, the authors whom we prefer to study with. Okay. But, what I want to say is that since we are with Royal College, so we have to be very peculiar. We have to choose the books, we have to choose the things what Royal College wants from us. Okay. So at this part one level, they want us to have a basic sound knowledge for, the basic sciences subjects. They are not expecting us specialized, a specialist or consultants. Whatever you are doing in your respective countries, irrespective of that, in MRCOG Part 1, you will be tested for your basic knowledge. So please bear in your mind when you are, filling the form for this MRCOG Part 1, just, take off that cover from you that you are working as a specialist in your country. Obviously, I mean, that's your country's degree, or say the, whatever the study you are doing over there. But for MRCOG, they want you as a fresher, as a, exactly the candidate who has just, come out from the college, medical college or medical school. Okay. So you need to bear in your mind that, you have to solve your questions according to like how a fresh graduate will solve a single question. Okay. So naturally, your practice will help, but obviously we have to solve questions according to the guidelines, according to the syllabus, according to the things Royal College has provided to us. Since it is a very prestigious degree and it is being honored almost throughout the world, okay, apart from like, I mean, one or two country, if I'm not mistaken, but almost it is recognized in all over the world. So you have to be very prepared, and you have to be mentally very prepared that, I mean, these all exams are very challenging. Secondly, these are all, competitive exams. Everybody is like, master in their own countries or whatever. But in this world, we have to compete with each other. So number one, don't be afraid of failures. Okay. Secondly, because we are dealing with the competitive exams, so the failures can be part of our exam. Okay. So you don't have to lose heart. You don't have to like, I mean, put it down like I'm not going to take this exam. No. If you are going to do part 1 MRCOG, naturally you have to go for part 2 and then part 3. And finally, your membership degree will be done. And remember, this is just membership. Okay. Once a candidate has asked me that what is the difference between FRCOG and MRCOG. Okay. So MRCOG, while you are done with MRCOG, all part 3, okay, all exams. So after like 12 years of MRCOG, you will be rewarded or awarded with the degree of fellow. Okay. So like, I mean, you, me, and everybody who is in this MRCOG world will be a member of Royal College. Okay. So remember that thing. Okay. So this should be very clear. So coming back to your syllabus, how to prepare for this exam. As I said, we have to have a very sound knowledge about the basic sciences subjects. And what are those basic sciences subjects? We study for like 5 years in our medical college or school. So we have to pick the subjects from all those 5 years, from first year, okay, from second year, third year. So all together, so we have to be master on anatomy, physiology, pathology, microbiology, biochemistry, biostatistics, okay, genetics. And what else? Genetics, and obviously the pharmacology, okay, pathology, and everything. So what you need to do is that you have to be very much focused. Okay, you have to choose, you have to pick your subjects very wisely, that which subject are you going to start with first, and then what you are going to study for that subject. So this book, this is a kind of, for me, this is a kind of like, I mean, a holy book for MRCOG. Okay. Though it looks very bad because it doesn't have any pictures, and we all doctors are very fond of pictures because, we have read from our atlases, we have read from, so many colorful books in our medical schools. So obviously, at first glance, you won't be like very much attracted to this book. But trust me, once you have done this book once, and then twice, and then thrice, then you will love this book. Okay, although it is like, I mean, not a kind of, you say that it is kind of a recommended book by Royal College, but obviously this is the only book we have got in our, MRCOG world. So we have to follow this. Okay, so it has got, kind of all subjects in there, starting from embryology and ending at the biostatistics. I'm not saying that, this is going to clear all your concepts, but naturally it is going to give you the idea that how to do and how to go for MRCOG exam. Okay, so remember, in MRCOG, they are expecting you a fresher. Okay, in fact, very beginner who have just come out from the college or university and now taking the first exam. Okay, so please come down at that level that, you are just a beginner, and then you have to start from embryology, anatomy, and all. Okay, it will look boring in the beginning. It will look bad that, why I'm doing this. I'm done with this in my country with my all exams. But since you are going for MRCOG, so naturally this is the first step. Okay, and trust me, the concepts you are going to make in MRCOG 1 is going to help you in your MRCOG 2, and yes, naturally in MRCOG 3 as well. Because MRCOG 1 is the basic sciences, then comes MRCOG 2, that is like, dealing with the clinical knowledge, like, your hospital-based knowledge, guidelines-based knowledge and all, and then comes part 3, in which again, you will be dealing with your, basic concepts from your anatomy, basic concepts from your pharmacology, pathology and all, and then you are going to mix it with your part 2 knowledge, and then you are going to pass the part 3. Okay, so idea behind, studying all these, the basic subjects is that you have to keep your concepts clear. Remember, concepts will help you till the end of you take this membership exam. Okay, so keep your concepts clear, first of all. Secondly, don't run after so many sources. Okay, there are so many sources, like, I won't name, but we have got so many books in the market. Okay, everybody got, very much fancy about them, that I have to go for that book, I have to go for that book. Yes, I do agree, they do help, but at the same time, they can divert your attention. They can divert you from your main, the course, because we have to deal with MRCOG. Every time you open any source, just keep one thing in your mind, that now you have to work and you have to think like what Royal College wants. And where is Royal College? UK. If you are attempting any UK exam, you have to think like UK based, doctors. That how, just imagine and keep yourself at that place, that if I am in UK, so how am I going to, deal with this patient? How am I going to do? How am I going to study for this exam? Okay. So first of all, main book, Oxford revision books. Then obviously, naturally, we get, sometimes you will get confused. And that is quite natural, because, we are going to start after such a time that, we may get confused that, what am I doing? Okay. So what you have to do is that, then if you are getting confused, refer back to another authentic book by Royal College. Okay. And that is your essential revision guide. Okay, so these two books should be on your study table while you are studying for part 1. Okay, so this one is the basic book. This is kind of a very thick book and very good book. And if you have started off early and now you want to take, proper guidance from us, that, what we are going to say, then I would recommend that if you have done, Oxford revision notes and you still have got some doubts or still you are confused, then you can refer to this book. This one is a hell kind of a good book. Okay, it has got everything in there. Okay, it has got every knowledge in there. Okay, obviously it is a big book. Obviously it has got, so many pages, and somewhat, we all need shortcuts. Okay, so what I will suggest is, first of all, try to do Oxford revision notes, one subject. Okay, take one subject. And if you think that your concepts are not, clear from Oxford revision notes, refer to this book. Open this book rather than opening, the so many other books which are not recommended by college. Okay. Secondly, naturally, we all are, somewhat kind of addict or somewhat kind of, relaxed to study from our own basic stuff or our own basic books. I won't say, those are bad. Obviously, we have become doctors by reading all those sources. You can refer back to them. You can see atlases. You can see so many things, but don't follow them. Okay, because your exam will come from these books. Okay, because you have to deal with RCOG, you have to deal with MRCOG, so you have to study according to how college is thinking about everything. Just keep your concepts clear. Okay, and those concepts definitely you are going to keep them clear from your own basic stuff and then referring back to these books. Okay, clear? Okay. Like I said, we can find some controversies in like one book or two books. If you think that, still your concepts are not clear, then what you can do is Royal College has given us, so many other sources as well. In terms of, the clinical guidelines, in terms of like, the basic percentages or basic prevalences, then you have to refer to the Green Top guidelines. These are the official guidelines from the Royal College, what they follow, what do we study for our part 2, part 3 exams as well, and the NICE guideline. Okay, NICE is an National Institute of Clinical Excellence of UK. Okay, so this is kind of a guidelines what UK people follow. Okay, because we are dealing with UK, so you have to refer back to all these guidelines if you think that these two books are not keeping your concepts clear. Okay, so don't go to multiple sources, rather than try to choose the sources which are authentic and which you think can be helpful for your exam. All these guidelines are freely downloadable from RCOG website, like Dr. Helmi said earlier, that the www.rcog.org.uk. Okay, so that is the website. Every guideline is freely downloadable there. Okay, so don't worry if you think that you don't find anything. You can even ask us in the group, Facebook group, so we can help you out in that as well. Okay, so then the basic part. Once you are done with Oxford revision notes, okay, so just let me tell you one thing, that Oxford revision notes has got subjects, and for example it has got embryology, the first chapter. Okay, so what you are going to do is that best part for me, everybody has got their own the teaching or the studying pattern. So how do they study? But for me, how I study is that I read one topic or one subject thoroughly from A to Z. Then I go to the the SBA books, and then I start studying them. Okay, so then you have to solve SBAs. And how you are going to solve your SBAs? Like, if you have done your one subject, embryology, okay, so what you can do is then you will solve SBAs from as many sources as possible. Okay, so you have to solve SBAs as well. So what you are going to do is that you will solve SBAs, okay, and from SBA, as name says, this is single best answer. Okay, so in exam you will have options from A, B, C, D, E, from A to E, 5 stems in every question. What you need to choose is the best one out of all these 5. So how you are going to choose that? Okay, by looking at the first glance on one question. So what you will see is that, okay, the 3 stems or 3 options are excluded for this question. Now I'm confused between D and E option. Okay, then you have to choose the best one. That is the main theme for this exam. Okay, single best answers. And then you have to do some things that can that how you can catch some points in certain questions. Like if the question is saying most important, most likely, for example, for like clinical scenario, there is polycystic ovarian syndrome. Okay, then they can ask you a question like, in polycystic ovarian syndrome, what is the most likely, the used criteria to diagnose the polycystic ovarian disease or syndrome? And there will be like 1 out of, like 5 or 6 criterias. Then obviously they have asked you clearly that what is the diagnostic criteria for polycystic ovarian syndrome. So naturally you will come to know that that is Rotterdam criteria. Okay, so in questions, they will give you some hints like this: the most likely, most important, least likely, except. And when this thing comes, except, and second, all but true. This keeps, somewhat confusion in question. It means you have to choose the wrong answer and you have to mark that true. Okay, so don't get confused, don't get carried away because they have given the except and they have given all true but. and some differentiating points of any diseases. For example, again, I will say, the somewhat kind of differentiating point, like, if they have given from pathology section that aniline dye is associated with which carcinoma? Okay, so alanine dye is a differentiating point for us, and there are thousands of carcinomas from pathology. Okay, so we know that alanine dye is associated with the transitional cell carcinoma of bladder, urinary bladder. Okay, so that will be the differentiating point. For example, another example, they can ask you that a patient has come with the fever, with the spikes, and she has hypoglycemia, she has so many vomitings, and on peripheral blood film, the pathologist or the hematologist found out that there is a banana shape organism or banana shape, the cell on the micro slides. So from there we can think of, okay, then we have to correlate, okay, the patient is having fever, patient is having vomitings, patient is having hypoglycemia as well, and also banana shaped organism. So probably this patient is suffering from falciparum malaria, okay, or malaria. So these are all, differentiating point that will be given in any SBA. Secondly, SBA can be long. The scenarios could be long. They can give you a whole scenario of the patient coming into the hospital or the OPD. And now, you have to think of either you have to make a diagnosis or either you have to give a management. Okay. So these practice, naturally you will come to know by solving as many as SBAs as possible. Okay. So now I will be going to tell you that what are the recommended SBA books. There can be multiple, from so many sources, but Andrew Sizer, number one, authentic book for, the practice, revision, single best answers. Catherine, another fine and another beautiful book for MRCOG Part 1. It has got so many, good SBAs with fine, very nice explanation. And lastly, you can refer to Ankush Roth, but somehow what I feel is that, the Ankush has got so many mistakes in keys. Yes, you can practice questions, but refer back to your questions while you want to see the keys. Okay? And then, comes question banks. Pass MRCOG, strategy, on examination, busy SPR. Four essential online question banks for MRCOG Part 1 preparation. Make your order in a way that that you cover your all basic stuff first. Strategy number 1, pass MRCOG number 2, on examination number 3, and then comes busy SPR. These are all online sources. Okay, you're not going to find PDF here and there. Okay, because these are all like legal, and you have to keep the copyrights. You have to keep these things along with the copyrights, because if you are going to share all these things on any social media, like on any WhatsApp group, Facebook group, or anywhere else, so it will be violating the copyrights of Royal College, because it has got certain recommendations from Royal College. And remember, strategy is the Royal College official source. Okay, pass MRCOG, on examination, busy SPR are not, but strategy is. Okay, so strategy you have to keep on the top while you are doing the SPAs. Then comes pass MRCOG, on examination, and busy SPR. Apart from that, if you have got, some good sources, I'm just saying for the questions, because you have to solve as many as questions as possible. Okay, then you can refer back to, your own countries. If you have got, you think that they have got the, quality questions, then you can refer those questions, but find out the keys according to your syllabus. And then comes, how to solve SPAs. Okay, we have got two theories. Number one, few people think that, after studying the theory, then you are going to do the SPAs. Some people go retrograde. They start with SPAs and then do theory. What I feel is personally that it is better that, you start with theory and then solve SPAs. So naturally it will be, helpful for you, and it is going to clear your concepts and ideas that whatever you have studied, so now you are going to solve the SPAs. And don't lose heart if you think that, you are doing SPAs and you are not, confident enough in first reading. Nobody become master in first reading. Trust me. If anybody says, must be lying. Okay. So just think that, how you can study and how smartly you can study. So, and what happens is that, obviously, solving as many as questions as possible will keep you, up to date, will keep you alive in your studies, that, you are doing so many things and you have to revise so many things. What you need to do is that, keep your own small notes. And I always say to my all students, it helps you by the end, that you have to revise. For example, remember, MRCOG part 1 and part 2 are the number games, percentages. You have to memorize percentages. If everything is given, if anything is given in revision notes or the essential revision guide, take out those, extract all those percentages and make your own small notebook. So by the end, you will have your own revision material. Okay. So by the end, you can revise your own stuff. So another thing I want to highlight is that, we have got 2 papers, okay, and then we need that, how these 2 papers are being divided, okay. So again, paper 1 is kind of, the basic sciences stuff. Paper 2 kind of, the clinical stuff, in which you are going to deal with, that especially that how obstetrics and gynecology is being dealt in hospital, keeping in view with all these, subjects. Paper 1, basically anatomy, embryology, genetics, physiology, endocrinology, biochemistry, biostatistics. So how these, the subjects are being distributed? Anatomy is the bulk. So almost out of 100 questions, you will get 25 to 28 or say 30 questions from anatomy. So it means anatomy is the bulk of your paper 1. What does it say? It says that anatomy, you have to do anatomy very well. Remember, nerves are not going to change, blood supply is not going to change, lymphatic drainage is not going to change, and pelvic anatomy, obviously, because we have to deal with pelvis perineum, right? So you have to do anatomy so well that by the end of your studies, that you can say that, yes, I know that where pelvis perineum is and what in pelvis perineum, what thing I have to focus on, okay? And I have focused. Then comes, this like embryology. Then embryology, you will get 10 to 12 or say 13 questions. And then comes this, the endocrinology. Endocrinology will also give you a good idea, because in endocrinology, you will merge endocrinology with physiology. Okay, so each physiology and endocrinology, at least you will get almost 15 or 16 each questions. Biochemistry, 5 to 7 questions, yes, and then comes biostatistics, the hardest part of, every candidate, because we are not used to of mathematics and biostatistics. Obviously, this is not our entity, but still we have to know as far as this MRCOG part 1 is concerned. Okay. So if I say that from paper 1, we have got, certain points scoring or the number scoring subjects. So in order, what would be anatomy? Yes, it is not going to change. Okay. So it means that anatomy should be very well, nicely done by you all. Then comes embryology, obviously. Embryology will be the same. Genetics is going to be the same. Physiology, endocrinology, biochemistry, biostatistics. So biostatistics, if you are getting 13 questions and you have solved 13 questions in a good way, it means you are going towards the passing this exam. Plus add on this anatomy, 30 questions, for example, if I say. So 30 and 13 makes 43. Genetics, almost 13 questions will come. Okay, again. So add 13 questions over here. It means if you have done, all these 3 subjects well, it means you are close to pass this, this paper 1. And then naturally, physiology, endocrinology, and biochemistry will add on. Okay. So master on, these 3 subjects, which are, the point scoring or the, the exam scoring papers, subjects. Okay. And then comes the paper 2. In paper 2, you are going to get pharmacology, pathology, microbiology, immunology, biophysics, clinical management, and data interpretation. the basic subject, the basic part that is going to test the whole, the combination of your all subjects. Because clinical management and data interpretation, it's not a separate subject. Okay? It is not a separate subject. It is a combination of physiology, pathology, genetics, embryology, anatomy, and everything. Because in clinical management, you are going to deal with clinical anatomy. Okay? In clinical management, data interpretation, you are going to deal with genetics pedigrees. Data interpretation means you are going to deal from physiology, like, they can give you certain graphs, they can give you the arterial blood gas analysis. From endocrinology, they can give you various diseases. Okay? From this pathology, they can give you certain pathologies from pelvis perineum. So this is a combination of all subjects. It is not a single subject. Okay? So pharmacology, almost 10 to 12 questions will come. Pathology, almost 12 to 13 questions roughly. Microbiology, immunology, they almost like 10 each, if you can say. Biophysics, 4 to 5 questions. Okay, so what I mean to say is that focus on basic subjects. Don't start your studies with biostatistics. Okay, get hold on your, the basic stuff first, and then come to the next subjects. Okay, keep biostatistics in the middle or keep biostatistics in the end, because this will be kind of exhausting, and because we are not used to of doing biostatistics in our daily practice. Okay, so get hold on all these subjects first, and then try to do as many questions as possible. Okay, so this is kind of again I will repeat that it covers your basic and applied clinical knowledge, not the whole clinical knowledge of all subjects, okay, of all specialties. You have to think, you have to learn, you have to walk, you have to sleep like OBG now, from now onwards, okay? And you have to think what the Royal College thinks, and you have to solve, or you have to attempt any question, like how Royal College wants you to prepare and how Royal College wants you to solve that question. Okay, so I hope I have made myself clear so far. If there is any question, ask me in the end of this session. Okay, so over to you, Dr. Helmi, if you want to add something more in it.
Yes, thank you, Dr. Zaid, for this detailed and informative tips and advices. I won't add anything more, but I just want to highlight the points you have mentioned. The first thing is that yes, you should be smart when you study, because as we can see that there is a different mark distribution among subjects in both papers. So for large subjects like anatomy, pharmacology, physiology, and so on, you have to make or do your maximum effort in such subjects. But for small subjects like biochemistry, biophysics, immunology, for example, you can rely on taking the most important points and solving questions. That's what I call the cost-benefit relationship, or this cost-benefit theory, that your cost is that your effort you are going to do, and the benefit is the marks you are going to get. Because when you study and when you solve questions and you get to know more about the exam, you will find some topics or some titles that just 1 mark in the exam or 2 marks in the exam. So of course these topics or these subjects, you won't do much effort in these parts. You will just try to solve the most common questions and take the most important points. So this is the first point to highlight, to be smart when studying. The second thing is to make your own notes. This is very important, to highlight your important notes and to make your own notebook, or write your notes in the same book you are studying in, with also on the comments of the questions. Each question book, after each question you have a comment. These comments can also contain some useful information, and you should note it down. Also, regarding how to study, whether to start with reading and then solving, or start with solving and then reading, you can do both strategies. Of course, the logic one is to read first and then to solve questions. But some subjects like the pharmacology, when you go through the theory part, you will find much more details than you expect. So when you when you solve the questions, you will find that questions are repeated and focusing on certain points, not all the points mentioned in the theory part. So sometimes solving questions first or looking at the questions first will let you know what are the important points to cover. Another thing we forgot to mention that fortunately from January 2019, this exam, they made a change in the way of success or the passing mark. Before you have to pass in each paper separately, but now both papers are added and the passing mark is for the overall exam. This is a good point because I know some candidates who didn't get the passing mark in the paper one, but they got a high mark in paper two and they passed the exam by this new strategy. Before, if you fail in one paper, you fail the exam, but now if both papers, when both papers are added, you can pass the exam if both papers together, when added, are more than the passing grade. So this is also a good point that will be for the future candidates. I think these are the most important points I remember for now. And thank you so much, Dr. Zay, for your detailed advice. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Yes. Yes, over to you, Dr. Heather.
Dr. Haider, are you with us?
Okay, till he comes, candidates can ask questions if they have any with regard to the preparation and everything. Anybody, if anybody has any question, please feel free to ask.
Hello.
Hello, yes.
Okay, you said we need clinical experience in obstetric and gynecology of 4 years. Can we do this
Part
training
2.
in UAE? Yeah, for
Yes.
part 2.
Yes, you can. And even that can be your pre or post examination. Okay. So after passing this part 1 exam, what you need to do is that you have to do your all certificates, you have to take them, you have to attest, and then you have to send for eligibility.
Am I audible?
Okay.
So then if you are eligible for part 2, then definitely RCOG will allow you to take part 2. Don't worry about that. Okay.
Like if I am doing general practice GP-ship in obs and gynae, it will be counted as for MRCOG too.
If your hospital is giving you experience letter that you are working in obstetrics and gynae purely department, and obviously you are dealing with your labor duties and theater work as well, so naturally yes, because that comes under the obstetrics and gynae training, right? So it has to be clearly mentioned on that you are exclusively working as a OBG doctor in the gynae ops department in this hospital from that day to that day. Okay, and you are dealing with the emergency and you are dealing with the labor room and theater work as well. You got my point? So it has to be like, okay?
Okay, like doesn't have any
Yeah.
prerequisite like we are under the some FRCOG or MRCOG or
No, it should not be under the FRCOG, but naturally your certificate should be valid. It should be on hospital, the paper, the official one. It should be officially stamped. Then you have to take that paper to any MRCOG or FRCOG consultant to get it signed back. Okay?
Okay.
That is the thing. Okay? So it should, it's not necessary that you are working under any MRCOG or FRCOG. It doesn't matter. Okay?
Okay. Okay.
Okay. Okay. Welcome. I think Dr. Hassan is with us.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Zaib, Dr. Helmi, for this great information. I will begin with my part now.
Mm-hmm.
So my screen is visible, I believe. Okay, so everyone can see the screen, right?
Yes, we can.
That's great.
Yes, Dr. Hassan.
So I will proceed with the third and the last portion of this session today, and I will explain about the online course we have been offering for MRCOG Part 1. I'll quickly tell you about the course features. It's a live course. We will have sessions similar to the today's session, and we will give you a schedule for the study. You will be studying according to that schedule, and the sessions will be according to the subjects and those schedule. We will take tests from you from each topic, and at the end we will take a mock exam. From each topic, I means to say that firstly we'll assign 1 week for anatomy. So you guys will prepare anatomy with us. We will deliver the live session for the anatomy. Then for next 7 days, you will study with us over the Facebook group, and we will tell you how to study. And then at the end of that 7 days, you will be performing a test from the anatomy questions online on our website. So in this way, your anatomy is done. You will move to the next subject. Let's suppose biochemistry. We'll deliver a live session for the biochemistry. Then for the next 6 days or 7 days, you will study that subject, and at the end you will perform the topic test and move on. We will do this with all the basic science subjects, and at the end we will conduct a final mock exam, which will be based on all the subjects. It will have questions from all the subjects, and it will be very close to the real exam. The most important feature is the Facebook study group. For each course, what we do is that we make a Facebook group and allow only those people, students, to enter that group who are the course members, in which you can interact with mentors, you can ask questions, and they will guide you there, and you will be interacting with us in those days in which there is no live session. The course is starting from 1st of April 2019, and the registration deadline is 31 of March 2019. The course fee is $120 USD per month. You can pay the complete fee as single payment as well. There's a discount on that. I'll explain in the next slide. Instructors are Dr. Zaib Qureshi and Dr. Helmi, and you will be having Dr. Niroz as well for the support in the Facebook. He'll be the course moderator. Okay, so we are offering $15 discount for those students who will join us before 16th of March 2019, and if they pay the complete fee as a single payment. So actual fee for the 3 months is $360 US. So students will be paying $365 US. $345 US. Okay, I'll explain about. We are also conducting some free sessions in upcoming days. The first one is today. You see, 6th of March. The next one is tomorrow. It's about understanding rules of inheritance, and Dr. Zaib will be taking this session. And after that, we have another session on 11th of March by Dr. Helmi, and on 15th of March, Dr. Dizri will be talking about the statistics. So we strongly recommend to attend these sessions. It will be very helpful for you in the exam preparation. We have shared a link on Facebook page. You can use that link to register yourself for these webinars. And we will send you the links over email 3 hours prior to the session. Okay, so course is online, and it's very convenient. You can attend it from anywhere. You just need to have an internet, and it will be very interactive because it's not like the e-courses or the e-tutorials in which you only can listen to the videos. You have the mentors, You will listen to the mentors, you can ask the question to the mentor. So it's a different kind of interactive course. And the best thing is you will have them with you for the 3 months. You can prepare in a very good manner. You can use any device to access our website. It can be PC, laptop, tablet, and smartphone. You can also listen to the live sessions on these devices. So it's totally portable. If you're in the hospital, you have a duty, you can also listen to the lectures through your mobile devices. This is a view. Once you will get the course, this is basically a dashboard. So you will have the contents. In the contents, we uploaded some important notes. We uploaded some videos which will help you to understand the concepts. Plus, we will give you the access to the recordings. What we do is that for every session we record it, and the very next day we upload it on our website. So you will have access to them in this session, the session recording section. We'll just click them. We will have the list of all the sessions, and you can listen to them as much as many times you want. Another thing is, I told you about the topic test. All the tests, online exams will be in this portion. So you can just open that and view this one. This is a view of the content timeline, how it will look like. We have the syllabus, we have a pre-test, and then anatomy we have uploaded the documents according to the categories. This is further, we have in anatomy, we have divided into the notes and the video illustration and the topic test. This is a topic test module in which you can see that all the tests we have uploaded, right? We have created all the tests, so we will tell you on which date you have to take a particular test, and then you will get the score. Once you submit the test, right away you will get the score, and you will get to know which questions you made wrong and which were correct. So it's a very interactive kind of test. This is a recording module, which I told you that all the recordings will be uploaded here. These are all the snapshots from our last courses. So you can see that July 18. So the next one, basically the current one, will be the July 19 batch. So you will see the updated dates here. As I told you that we will have a scheduled study. The students who will enroll in our course, they will get a study schedule for these 3 months, and they have to prepare according to that. And students have to strictly follow that schedule. They have to finish all those topics within that period of time, so that we can move on. Okay. This is the last slides in which I will tell you that how you can join our course. The very first step is you have to create an account on our website. It's www.med-examexpert.com, and you can see the options here, the sign up option and the login option. If you have an account, you can just go to the login. If you don't have an account, you click on the sign up. This is a course catalog in which we have all the courses, available courses. So the very first step, you have to open the website. The next step, you have to log in and go to the course catalog. Once you will open the course catalog, you can see that there are other courses as well here, like MRCOG Part 1, 2, 3. We also do some workshops, so you can see the workshops courses here as well. So you have to choose MRCOG Part 1, like this one. Click the checkbox, and then you will see 2 modules here. The first one is the installment. I told you that installment is $120 USD per month. For 3 months, it will be $360. And if you want to pay the full payment, then you can take the discount of $15, which is $345 after discount. And once you click on this Get This Course button, you will have this window. You can just enter the card details. It's a secure platform. And once you enter the card details, your payment is successful. You are the part of the course. Our team will send you the emails and the guidance about the schedule, about the other next things which you have to follow. And we will add you to the Facebook group as well once you have joined the course. This is the basically Facebook cover for the group which we usually create. So we'll create for the January, July 2019 candidates. You can contact us anytime for the support. We are available throughout in this entire course. Also, if you have any queries throughout the year, you can drop us a message on our Facebook page, and we'll be happy to serve you. Thanks for joining us in this session, and if you have any questions, please let us know.
If anyone has any question, yes.
Yeah, if we register to your med exam expert, still do we have to buy the online courses of PAS MRCOG, Strategy, and all those question banks? Or do you offer the question banks to us, the training?
No, Dr. Jyoti. All these question banks you have named are the copyright, is a copyright material, and we cannot provide you these by any means. So you have to buy them on your own. In our course, what we do is that we'll make things simple for you, we'll make the concept simple for you, and this will help you to crack the exam in the very first time. But for all the books and all the material which have the copyrights, we cannot provide you. You have to buy at your own.
Yes, actually, I can say that we have
so
our question
your course
bank.
only.
Yes, we have our own question bank. We have our own mock exams. But for other online question banks, especially those under the authority of the Royal College, like PAS, MRCOG, and Strategy, you have to subscribe for them online, and you can just choose one online question bank. You don't have to subscribe to all question banks. You can pick up PAS, MRCOG, or Strategy. Either one of them you can solve and will help you in your exam. You don't have to subscribe to question banks.
For all.
Can we have all that?
Okay, how do we subscribe to them on the RCOG website itself?
Yes, they have their own websites. There is a website for the PAS MRCOG and a website for the Strategy. Okay, they have their own website. Why we recommend you now to subscribe? We know that at the January exam, the Royal College have asked all the candidates to sign papers not to share any recalls or past papers anymore. So they are changing their question bank, and they are making new questions, and they don't want these questions to be shared anymore like previous recalls. So I think if they want to add anything, they will put these new questions in their question banks. So now I can recommend that even 1 month before the exam, you can subscribe to one of these question banks and to practice and to know the new, maybe you can get some new questions in these question banks. Okay? But during our course, we are going to highlight the most important regarding the previous and the most important questions also.
How can we get all that material in a book form or the written form? Like, if someone has a problem in reading the book, reading the material from the smartphone or PC, and he or she will prefer the book form, how can we get that?
All books are found in hard copies in bookstores everywhere in each country. You can ask for the nearest bookstore and you can buy it. Some books are can be bought online. You can go to the Amazon or other websites through which you can buy anything, and you can buy these books hard copies. They will send you. Okay.
From where I can get in Pakistan, if you can kindly, if you can guide about the Pakistan.
In which city are you in?
I'm from Lahore.
Okay, in Lahore, you have got so many bookstore, and contact me in person. I guess I will give you some idea that from where to buy these books. Okay,
Thank you so much.
contact.
So nice, ma'am.
Yes, yes.
How can I contact you by email or contact number or anything else?
Facebook. Search my
Okay.
name, Zepti, okay, and send me text over there. So I will try to guide you up. Okay, no problem.
Jazak, Jazakallah. So nice of you. So nice of you. Thank you so much.
Welcome, welcome. No problem. Any question, anybody? We are here to answer.
Hello.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, I have one more doubt. I finished my MD 5 years back, and I've been working for the past 5 years. So
Mm-hmm.
after my MRCOG 1, if I clear it, immediately can I take up the MRCOG Part 2?
Actually, that depends on that when Royal College accept your Part 2 eligibility. Okay. And Dr. Helmi has just
Okay.
told you that, they have got certain deadlines for eligibility applications as well. So if you think that, after attempting Part 1, that you can send your application for Part 2, what I have a doubt is that, by the time you will pass your part one, so the eligibility, pass means that you will get your pass exam result, okay? So by the time the
Okay.
eligibility will be, I think, there will
Close.
be the deadline, okay, closed, kind of. Anyway, but still,
Okay. Okay.
Artsudi, you can send your papers,
No,
okay?
no, no, no. My doubt was, it is not that. No, my doubt was, is it
Mm-hmm.
like after MRCOG Part 1, I have to work some time and then only
No, 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 no.
should
You
I
can
appear
sit
for
right
Part
away.
2 or I can? No, no.
No,
Okay.
If you are
Okay.
working
Okay. That's
continuously, you can appear next, no problem. Okay,
yes,
just keep your. Hmm.
okay. 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 Done.
yes. For the results of part one exam of the January were out yesterday, and there are still 2 weeks for application of the assessment of training. So the candidates who passed part one this exam, they can, if they can send them and they can apply for July part two. This is there is no problem in this. There is no limited time
Okay.
or certain time between part one and part two, as long as you have finished the 4 years experience in
Yes.
Oregon. Okay.
Yes. Just keep your all certificates ready and keep your all certificates, signed by any of RCOG or MRCOG consultant. Because by the end, either way, you have to send those papers to RCOG. Okay?
Okay. So it has to be attested by
Yes.
MRCOG or FRCOG.
Yes, that will be kind of processed attestation. The letter should be on your hospital letterhead or the consultant letterhead, whom you are, working, and then it should be process attested by any RCOG or MRCOG. Okay?
Yes, of course. When your
Okay.
papers are signed by an FRCG with a GMC number, this give you a better chance for your papers to be accepted immediately without, without any delay.
No
Of
delay.
your papers from the hospital and or your head of the department alone, but if he is an FRCG, of course, this will give you a better chance in acceptance immediately.
Immediately. Yeah, agree.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Welcome.
Okay, thank you everyone for joining us in this session. And if you have any questions, you can just send us an email on info@med-examexpert.com, or you can drop us a message on our official Facebook page, which is Med Exam Expert, and we'll be happy to serve you.
Yes,
Uh,
definitely.
Thank you.
we're looking forward to you all in the course, and see you then in the
And
next
yes,
session in
don't
March.
forget to join tomorrow's class, okay? I'll
Yes,
be
yes.
teaching you the genetics pedigrees. So hopefully we'll have a great session ahead. And then next Dr. Helmi class and Dr. Desiree class, okay? So hopefully see you tomorrow, okay? Take care
Yes.
everybody.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Okay,
Okay,
okay.
thank you. Thank you so much.